I'm going to give you 3 Chicago Bears that everybody is sleeping on heading into the second half of this season, and it starts right now. Now, if you are new to the channel, please hit that like button. Please subscribe to the page. We do talk Chicago sports daily on this channel. Only channel talks Chicago sports. How Chicago talks. So make sure that you get in tune with us, man. Appreciate you guys for rocking with us as always. Listen, there's a lot of disrespect that has come to certain players on this team. That, listen, I don't even know if I can say it's disrespect, right? I think you have to say they haven't performed as much as we would like to early in the season. But I think that what people tend to do is they get into these moments where this is my idea of a player, so this is where I keep that player the entire time. And as the season goes on, I think we've seen these players continuously get better. And so I'm making this video to let you guys know it's time to update some of those opinions. Also, pay no attention to the studio around me. I get it. I'm back in the basement. There's walls up, but nothing on the walls. You got to wait for stuff to get sent to you. That's what I'm waiting on. So it's on the way. New studio coming soon. Can't wait to unveil that thing for you guys. Let's get it started, though. It's number one for me. As we get into this, I think you got to look at a guy who was traded here, who has taken a lot of daggers, who has played banged up, who's tried to play through injuries, and who has dealt with the ups and downs of a defensive head coach who is absolutely insane and bad at his job. But now in this season, working with Dennis Allen, you've really seen growth throughout the season. I'm talking about Montez Sweat right now. When you look at what Montez has done this season alone, he's top 10 in solo tackles right now. He is top 10 in stops right now. He is a top 30 player in total pressures. That was a big issue for the Chicago Bears last season. He's coming in 30th with 30 total pressures, but that was something that the Bears were not getting, did not have a top 40 player in the entire defensive line last season. Now, you got a couple of them that I think are very impactful. He does have 5.5 sacks on the season, 2 forced fumbles, which is 5th in the NFL. He's also got 3 batted passes on the season, which is 4th in the NFL. So he's got a lot of things that are telling you, right, as you head into the second half of this season here, he's starting to continue to get better. By the way, 5.5 of those sacks, right? 4 of those 5.5 sacks, I'm sorry, 4.5 of those 5.5 sacks have come in the last 4 weeks of football for Montez. So it's very exciting to see kind of how he's growing his game and continuing to adapt and develop. And I think that's the part that we don't talk about when we look at defensive players, because it's like, just get to the quarterback no matter what. That's the bottom line. But to me, there is still learning the system, understanding the system, right? You have to understand what's going to work best for you, what you're being asked to do, and how to execute that. Dennis Allen talked about it a little bit and said, you know, that Montez truly has started to fit into the mold of what we expect from him this season. And it happened around a similar time as Caleb Williams starting to figure some things out, right? So maybe sometimes it is just figuring out the system. And now you're talking about him as a pass rusher, as somebody who is constantly not only around the quarterback, creating that pressure, but also getting to the quarterback. With 9 games left this season, I feel like we need to update the narrative on Montez Sweat. And I get it, right? He's the highest paid player on the defensive side of the ball. This is what you expect from him. You don't get a cookie for doing your job. But I think finally we're seeing him do his job at the level that we feel that he's being paid to do. And guess what? If I have to pick a half of a season for you to start to figure that out in, I want to see it more in the second half than I do in the first. And I feel like we've consistently seen that from Montez Sweat as we've gone further along into this season. Need that to continue. And I think he's going to be a big part of what this Bears team does defensively as we continue to move forward. On pace right now for another 12-sack season. Let's hope that he can find his way there. Let me know how you guys feel in the comments below. I'll be down there talking with you guys as well. Do you feel like Montez Sweat has finally turned his game around and is starting to pick up, you know, kind of where we brought him in at, where he left off at when he got here, right? He was still such an impact player, really changed that defense when he first got here. And hopefully we see that continue to develop as we keep moving along here. Player number 2 for me, and somebody I think, listen, even I've been guilty of saying it feels like he's plateaued a little bit here in his, I believe it's his third year, if I'm not mistaken. I believe this is third year in the NFL at this point. Was taken in the 2023 draft. Jervon Dexter is number 2 on this list for me, and to me, what you've seen from him, as far as his PFF grade, I think you could say it's pretty consistent with what we've also seen on the field. I'm a guy that always says use PFF as a tool. 80.8 pass rush grade. That puts him 7th among all defensive interior players. Right now, he's sitting at 4.5 sacks on the season. But what I love, yet again, talking about pressure, for me, when I'm looking at a pass rusher, I would rather see a player that is constantly creating pressure and forcing the quarterback to throw the football in some tough situations than somebody who maybe is just racking up sack numbers, but that's all that they can do, right? Like, to me, I love the fact that right now, Jervon Dexter, top 20 in total pressures this season. He's got 22, right behind Montez Sweat on this team. He's also 4th in sacks from any defensive interior lineman in the NFL. And you're seeing him continue to get better and better as the season is going on. That pocket is being dented more often from the middle. Now, do you need to see more? Yeah. And I think, going back to Montez a little bit, including it in here, right? It's about the other guys that are playing around you as well. How good are the other guys playing around you? How good are the guys who it seems like are, supposed to be the ones that take the pressure off you? How good are those guys, right? There has been nobody opposite Montez Sweat. And to be honest with you, to start this season, there really hasn't been anybody standing next to Jervon Dexter that you feel great about. Love some of the contributions from Andrew Billings here. Grady Jarrett feels like he's in more of a leadership role. He's still got that talent in spurts and moments, but he can't give it to you 100% of the time. And so, to me, I think what you're seeing out of Jervon, how he's starting to get better as these last couple of weeks have gone by. I mean, you're talking about him right now as a top 5, top 10 defensive interior lineman. Like, that's a great place for you to be here. And like I said, I was guilty of saying it feels like he's plateaued, but over the last 4 weeks, you do see him starting to pick up the pace, starting to find ways and create moves to where he's getting into the face of the quarterback, forcing the quarterback out of the pocket. And I think the thing for me is when you have a full defensive line, when you have your full complement of guys across that at least feel like they're solid in their role there, right? Sometimes that interior pressure goes much more noticed because you're rolling a quarterback out into a situation where he's getting tackled to the outside. To me, we haven't seen a ton of that because the Bears haven't been great with the sack numbers this season. But there are these moments where you're seeing quarterbacks getting forced to have to get off the spot, get to the outside, try to make a play from outside the pocket, have to take off and use the legs, use the wheels, right? Because Jervon Dexter is finding his way into that backfield a ton this season. I love to see that from the standpoint. And again, somebody who it felt like plateaued at a point, but now is picking up the pace at the right time. To me, those two are two of the pieces that you look at on the defensive end, and you should feel like, hey, like if he's able to go out there and continue to make things happen in that manner as we get to the end of the season, with the conversation around Jalen Johnson, with the conversation around Kyler Gordon possibly coming back, you've added in CJ Gardner-Johnson into that situation as well. It truly feels like this is a Bears team that could find all the answers that they have been looking for from that pass rush, especially on the interior, as this season continues to go by, because like now you're getting to the point where quarterbacks are starting to have to worry about, okay, I can't spend all this time in the pocket because we are getting guys who are forcing their way back there and forcing me off of my spot, forcing me to make tough decisions, quick decisions. And the thing is, for both of these guys, right, not small guys either, 6'6", 312 coming up the middle. I mean, like that's a big guy to have to throw over, especially if that pocket is starting to collapse on you. You look at Montez from the outside. I mean, what is he, 6'6", 262, right? Kind of that same situation. We've seen him get his hands on a couple of those batted balls there. Would love to see Jervon improve in that area, getting the hands up, realizing when he's lost the rep and just throwing the hands up. We've seen him try to do that some. But would love to see that a little bit more consistent. But outside of that, like those are two names on the defensive end that it truly, truly feels like you got to give a little bit more credit to as we get to the end of this season. Again, let me know how you guys are feeling on Jervon in the comments below. I'll be down there talking with you guys as well. We're going to take a quick break here, listening to a word from our sponsors over at DraftKings. But when we come back, I will have the number one guy that this Chicago Bears team should be looking at, and who Bears fans need to update the narrative on going into the second half of the season and say, you know what? there's been a really good contribution. And if this continues, we're going to be really, really good down the stretch of this season. We got to talk about that and more coming up next. But first, a word from our sponsors over at DraftKings. Breeze Nation, we got to take a quick break in the action to let you guys know that we have teamed up yet again with DraftKings Sportsbook, and they have a new offer for you. New customers can bet $5 and get $300 back in bonus bets if your bet wins. So what are you waiting for right now? Use the promo code Windy City to sign up, and you can turn $5 into $300 if your bet wins, paid instantly in bonus bets. The crown is yours. Big shout out to DraftKings for being a sponsor of today's episode. Now let's get back into the show. Appreciate y'all rocking with us over there on DraftKings. Appreciate you guys for supporting the channel as well. If you have not done so, hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. We are live all the time, talking sports live for just about every game that is coming on. The Chicago Bears game will be live for that on Sunday. Also live for every Monday night and Thursday night game. So if you haven't tapped in with us, tap in with us on that. We're also doing Bulls live calls on the channel again. Chicago Bulls struggling a little bit, little streak here, going the wrong direction. But I think they'll get their footing back here this coming weekend as guys are starting to get healthy. So tap in with us on all of that as well, and make sure if you don't hit that, if you don't, hopefully hit the notification bell. But if you don't get a notification, I guarantee you this: we post videos every single day. If you come to the channel, you will see a new video. So just search the Windy City Breeze in the search bar, and you will always find something new from us. All right, let's get into our number one guy here that I feel like is going to be massive heading into the second half of the season, and maybe somebody that people are sleeping on here. And he's gotten himself going much later in his Bears tenure here. There wasn't really a great moment here, but I do have to give credit where credit is due. You guys know, if you watch the channel on a consistent basis, I am not a big go out and pay the running back guy. But if you are going to pay the running back, go out and pay a running back that's going to be incredibly impactful. And you know what? I can't hate on DeAndre Swift. He has been incredibly impactful for the Chicago Bears team. Again, take everything with a grain of salt. But when you look at the PFF numbers, 73.9 rushing grade, that's 23rd among all halfbacks in the NFL this season. Now, it's not a great number. Where he gets even better with that, where he is top 15, is 13th among all halfbacks in his receiving grades. And what I love about it is 13th among all halfbacks in yards per carry this season. Remember that what Eric Bieniemy was looking for was somebody who could get you 4.5 between the tackles. Right now, he's getting you almost 4.8 between the tackles to the outside. He's finding lanes that he needs to be rushing in, and he's running very well, in my opinion. I feel like there's really been much more of a comfort in the run game with this offensive line up front. And so to me, I think look out for DeAndre Swift to have a really big season in the second half of this season here as we're continuing down his path. Because you know what I also love about this, and this is a stat that Ben Johnson is massively high on, is he is top 10 in explosive runs. That is a run of 10 plus yards or more. He's had 20 runs of 10 plus yards or more this season. DeAndre Swift is running at a much better pace than we've seen him run at any point to me in his career this season. I get it. People want to point to the Pro Bowl year. I don't think he ran that this well then. I think people want to point to when he was first with Ben Johnson. He definitely didn't run this well then. And like right now, it feels like a completely different DeAndre Swift who's able to go out there and get the job done. I love what we've seen out of Swifty here in the second half of the season. And to me, if he can keep this up, now you have that dynamic between him and Kyle Monangai together where you've got that two-man game. You can get him a little bit more rest with some of the injuries that he's dealing with because you have someone else that you can turn to, which means you're getting a better version of him on a much more consistent basis. And we saw in the last game and in the last couple of games leading up to this, how the play action has really helped Caleb Williams out as far as being a quarterback. Like, I think he's one of the biggest keys to keeping Caleb Williams unlocked here in the second half of this season, because if you keep running this way, you have to respect the run. If I've got to respect the run, that means I'm worried about the quarterback rolling out and creating, off of play action or off of a bootleg, right? And guess what? Some of the times when it is ugly and there's nobody else downfield to throw to, DeAndre Swift is that guy who's right there to make a big catch. And so to me, when I see what we're seeing out of Swifty this year, by the way, he's top 10 in rush yards from running backs this season. I mean, like when I'm seeing what we're seeing out of Swifty this season, as far as from the running back position, you have to give him his flowers. And I am telling you right now, if he keeps this up, up. He is going to be one of the most important Chicago Bears finishing out this season, hopefully taking us into the playoffs. Again, let me know how you guys feel in the comments below. I'll be down there talking with you guys as well. How do you feel about the 3 players that I brought up here? And are there other players who you have on your list that you feel are much more impactful from that standpoint, that you feel are being slept on, that are going to make an impact here in the second half of the season? Can't wait to hear from you guys, man. As always, it's your boy Pat the Designer back at it again. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Bear down. One love. Peace.